Greetings. Today I want to speak to you on the subject of Neville Goddard, mentor. And the internet is filled with many people posting the work of Neville Goddard. But whether you believe what I'm going to say here or not, based on what Neville would have said about his mentor being Abdullah, when you take a deeper look and you realize that Neville was a part of a fraternity, he was part of a certain brotherhood. Whether he met Abdullah there, he put a story together to come up with a character named Abdullah. You have to realize that you need to discover who you are and the power that you have in you to achieve your every desire. For example, Neville stated that they have never incorporated a melanated person in the scheme of things when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to self-awareness, when it comes to enlightenment. They have never highlighted Africa, neither melanated men or women. And so if he could have seen that, and his family was a part of the aristocracy of the people who run the slave plantations in the Caribbean, and that's the reason why he was born in Barbados. And when he saw the spirituality of a spiritual system that still lives on up to this day in a people, he saw it fit to make sure he incorporate a black man into the scheme of things. Now, on the flip side, everything he said about Abdullah can also be seen as a parody, okay? Because the keepers of time knows that when the earth experiences certain cycles, there are people who have been asleep would awake. And there are men and women who would arise and start teaching these things that was hidden. For example, there are many, many, many things that are hidden in the Vatican. There are many, many, many things that have been hidden through colonialism. And the colonialism system still run in the islands. As a matter of fact, Neville Goddard family still have the biggest business in my country. And in 2020, in the big scamdemic, that business was the very first business to make it compulsory for people to be inoculated. Even those who were not working permanently, but they were on probation. And that probation is you have to work for like a year before you could be given permanent. They also were told that they would not get that job unless they take the inoculation, the jab. I have a very good friend, as a matter of fact, this person have been, like one of my closest friend since I was growing up. And he worked, with that company for years. That company that started in Barbados, that was first called Goddard and Sons, okay? The name is changed, okay? And he refused to take the job, and he lost his job. He's working with another company now doing sales, because he used to be doing sales for that same company. So there's a lot of holes in, Neville Goddard's testimony concerning his mentor. And many people feelings was hurt when they read my book called The Black Mystic from Ethiopia, Neville Goddard mentor. Okay. But you have to understand reverse psychology. You have to understand parody also. Okay. And you have to learn to read between the lines. Okay. You see, Neville first met a man in England, okay, who introduced him to certain things. Because that's where his roots came from, okay? And even in my country, it's still a colony of England, okay? And the people still fooling themselves thinking that they're independent, okay? And so the same slavery system continue in a systematic way. And that is why I've never really jumped on no Neville Goddard bandwagon, okay? I stuck to the Abdullah teaching because I see beyond a story of a black mystic from Ethiopia, okay? And I see instead a mystical order that has always been in the Mali and the many other countries of Africa. There has always been a mystical system through Ethiopia and among the Dugan people and the other different tribes of Africa and so on. And so, because I understand that spiritual, let me say, bloodline, I know that they will try to incorporate a black man into the scheme of things while they're playing a game with the minds of those who are gullible and believe that some man who lived years ago brought them some new revelation or some new truth. No. You see, for example, in my country, there's a lot of people who are tied to fraternities and so on. Okay, and there have never been any great change in the country because they're keeping everything secretly. But when you out of their fraternity and you awake and you can create your reality consciously and deliberately based on you having a true experience, you realize that a mystic is on a higher frequency than those who've been taught a little bit of metaphysics here and there. Because if you chase these fraternity, especially in the Caribbean, they go back to I'm trying to remember the name. This man Prince something, I'm trying to remember the name. Okay, Prince Hall. Okay, we go back to Prince Hall. Okay, and so my brother and my sisters, I'm saying to you that your mentor would always be your messenger, that brings message to you and from you. It is your thoughts. And that is why you have to be more intuitive. And you have to understand that you are the perceiver. And the things that you behold, they are the perception. So, for example, if you get trapped on the Neville Goddard train, you'll only be getting things based on manifestation, and they'll be telling you about manifesting this, manifesting that, and they tell you about money, but they'll never be pointing you to your identity, and they will never show you the destruction of secular Christianity in the islands. For example, in my country, right, there's a spiritual system that passed down all the way from Africa, and it was polluted by the same people who was running the plantation system, and they add Jesus and all of these other things into the system. And the person who's running the island right now, whose ancestry you could chase all the way back to Europe, he give the people a holiday. The people who call themselves spiritual Baptists, And for years I've been asking these people why they were persecuted. They cannot tell you why they were persecuted. I ask them why they do certain things they don't know. They don't know why they jest the way they jest. They don't know anything, but I know the entire system. Because why? I am connected to my ancestors, and I could channel my ancestors, and I could rewrite history. So my brother, my sisters, don't get too caught up on the Neville Goddard bandwagon. Okay? Trust your intuition, and let your intuition lead you and guide you to show you that I'm telling you the truth. Okay? What Neville thought is what was really hidden from you. Okay? It is just a proof of what they would have done to you. So with that being said, my brother, my sister, I see the rain is down over the mountain there, so I'm going to definitely come to a close. I want to thank you very much for listening to me. I want to say to you, if this is the very first time that you're listening to me, what I'm saying, if it makes sense, if it really resonates with you, you want to go deeper down the rabbit hole, you can, you can feel free to comment, you can like, you can share this video. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on TikTok at Black Mad Guru. Also, if you'd like to get my books, all of the links are down below. You have 10 more books available to you. If you'd like to become a part of my Patreon community, you're welcome. And I have a course here that's called the Inner Sun Science and Technology to Create Your Reality Consciousness. And along with that is a bonus course on self-concept. Also, if you'd like to book a one-on-one with me, you can drop me an email and we can set up that one-on-one on whatever platform we choose to, whether it's it on WhatsApp or on Zoom. We can do that. Also, if you want to do that one-on-one with me on an app, it's a religious app, but I take the opportunity to teach spirituality there, okay? And it is called Faithia. If you want to do a one-on-one on that app too, we can do that, okay? But my last encouragement to you is to make sure that you check out all of the links that are down below, and definitely let your intuition lead you and guide you into what to do. So with that being said, I just want to say peace, love you all, out.